Oh, there I am. Good morning, everyone. Menge's in the house. Anime Reyes. Lorice, the Philippines' most eligible bachelorette and socialite, and also a mighty fine person. Aileen Cruz Official. I saw Aileen Cruz Official way up there at the top of the list. Larice is here. Yes, you are. Thanks so much, Larice. What would a live stream be without you being here, huh? Hey, my music's still going. How do I turn that off? Let me see. I have to play around. I have to play around with this for a moment. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, all right. So I see the notifications are going out. Everything is good to go. I have I think my StreamYard link has been pinned, or I hope it has been. Someone's gonna have to let me know. Yeah, I see it up there. I see it up there on my phone. I got 6 in the house. Welcome, welcome. It's another day in the neighborhood. Our uh, let's see, our second to last day here in Cebu before we head back to Bye Bye City, Philippines. Bye Bye City Leyte. Bye Bye City Leyte, is becoming a rather large city. I don't know if you guys know that or not. It is said that by, I think it's something like 2035 or 2040, that we're going to have something like 149 or 150 million population here in the Philippines. And the likelihood is that cities, the way that they're going to develop is by going straight up. They're going to be going straight up, not out. So most people will be living in the city, not necessarily in the provincial areas. And so I got some wonderful comments about province versus city um, on the last live stream. Oh, I see Knitband is in the house. Knitband, how are you, my friend? Knitband says, "Hey to everybody." I'm uh I'm wondering what's going on because I can't see much going on here on my laptop computer, but I see things happening on my phone. So as long as one of them are doing okay. For example, it's not showing how many people here I got in the chat, um, unless I'm looking on my phone. And so I suspect I was having problems with StreamYard this morning. StreamYard whacks out, every now and again. For example, I had to go in and I had to sign in again. And usually it's automatic, it knows your IP address. And so it knows where you're at and where you're going and where you're going to be. And for some reason, I had to go back in. I had to log in, reset everything. And I have a feeling it's because I was using it. Probably has something to do with my browser, that I was using a different browser. And so, anywho, what ended up happening was this, where nothing's showing up here on my computer screen here, but the chat and everything is showing up just fine on my phone here down below. So if I start looking down below, see, there I am. Oh my God, it's ethereal. It's multi-dimensional. Anyway, hmm, ah, what's happening today? Okay, so what's happening today is we're going to talk about fate, tempting fate. Do you tempt fate? That's going to be the subject today. Oh, by the way, we were on Larry stream yesterday, and Larry, we talked a little bit about the apartment that Minnie and I have rented in Lahug, Cebu, not too far from the Taoist temple. I didn't know if you guys know it or not. There's a Taoist temple here in Cebu near Lahug, and for some reason, I'll tell you what, I've never been to this area of Cebu. Um, I kind of thought that bad news from your beloved city of Sacramento. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's going on, Knit Band? What happened? What happened to Sacramento? Let's deal with that. Knit Band, talk to me. And also, Larry, I think the link is in there if you'd like to join me. And anybody else that'd like to come up and have a little chat and join me, feel free. Looks like we have 6 in the chat so far, but I can't tell by looking up in my um, computer screen. I'm looking down on my phone. Looks like we have 5 in the chat room right now. I'm waiting. Let's see. Hi, Knit Bam. Oh, here's Larry. Oh, yeah. Larry, did you hear about anything terrible happening in
Sacramento? No, I did not hear.
Oh my gosh. The Sikh temple, 2 people shot, happened 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Back on Bradshaw. That's the big Sikh temple in on Bradshaw.
Well, I was
Man,
at work 2 hours ago, and I
yeah,
didn't have the news on at all yet
yeah.
today, so I
Wow.
hadn't heard. Today
There
is
was a parade. I remember that they were closing the streets off. The last I saw in the news about the parade that they were having at the Sikh temple was that they were getting ready to close the streets off in Sacramento to get ready for the parade. That was the last news that I had heard. And then Nitban is saying that there was a shooting on a parade or at the parade at Sikh temple. 2 people
now.
shot.
Now,
Happened 2 hours back on Bradshaw Avenue. Yeah.
now, were they shooting at the people at the Sheik Temple, or were they shooting at people on
I don't
in
know.
the
You know, the
parade?
Sikhs have had not such good luck there in the Sacramento area, and I'm not sure the reason why that's happening. But the violence that has occurred in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, Nitban, but the violence that has occurred in the past have been attacks against Sikhs. You know, where it's purely based on hatred, hate crimes. And then the other, so that's one issue. And then the other thing that's happening are um, Sikh members having conflicts with other Sikh members and then taking it out on them. And so I mean, so I wonder, was this a random act of violence or planned? And then was it a situation where Sikhs weren't happy with the leadership or what something going on in the temple, and so they attacked their own, or was it a planned act of violence? I'm just kind of curious about that. Yeah, Yuba City. I'll tell you what. I have learned to stay away from all parades, no matter what they're celebrating, because I worry about random acts of violence taking place. And yeah, there were a lot of attacks on Sikhs, Nipans right after 9/11, and people had mistaken them for Muslims because of their of what they wear.
You know,
Yeah, and that,
their
of course,
turbans, the headwear.
yeah, and people don't understand. People don't understand that. They don't understand that the Sikh religion, and they're honoring their religion by wearing their Sikh clothing. In fact, it happens in a lot of different religions that you honor it by wearing the clothing of your accepted
Orthodox
religion.
Jews.
Yeah, exactly. There's another example. Sephardic Jews. I mean, there's all kind of different religions that I could think of where they would wear clothing in honor of their religion. Yeah. So that's terrible. That's terrible. I got 12 thumbs up. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when we're live and we add videos. Hey, so did you guys notice? We'll wait for more information as it develops on that net ban. It's a sad thing, most certainly is. Especially, we're starting to here in the Philippines. People are returning back to the province if they're in the city because they're heading home for Holy Week, and that's one of the reasons why Man Minnie and I are heading home. We're heading home, because in the city things, people usually vacate, and so we're gonna the apartment isn't going to be available until after everybody returns back from Holy Week, which is going to be around the 11th of April. So they were kind enough, realizing the dilemma, that we were in. They were kind enough to prorate rent for April, so that we don't start paying until we actually pick up the keys, which will be April 11th. So Mamini and I are headed home tomorrow early on the first fast ferry out at Pier 1. We'll either be probably on the Ocean Jet or the Super Cat. I decided that you know doing the overnight thing is kind of not good on my back, because we took the we took the Rosalinda or the Lapu Lapu. I can't remember which one overnight from Bye Bye City. Although it's very convenient, the beds are very hard on my back, and so I was telling Minnie, well, I'm probably better off, or we're probably better off just skedaddling from Cebu to Ormoc and then heading down by bus back to Bye Bye City Lately. That's probably how we're going to do it. So
Now, do they have those private cabins on that overnight?
on the overnight, they don't on this particular ship. We have done the overnight for in the private cabin on the
Is
Robo
that
line.
better?
Yeah, that's much better because it's got all the luxuries of home in there. It's like an apartment. It's like renting an
Yeah.
apartment, and the fares are very reasonable for going overnight on the Robo from or the Roble, I guess they call it, from Ormoc to Cebu. But I think that we're going to get back. I think I want to get back early. I don't know why. I go with my gut feeling a lot on such things, and my gut is
Why not?
telling me that. Yeah, exactly. So my gut instincts are to get on the fast ferry and jet back to Ormoc, and then get on the air conditioned bus and head down to Bye Bye City. No big deal. I mean, I'll be sleeping most of the way anyway. So what are you gonna do?
If I was going to take the ferry overnight, I'd want the private room because, well, I have sleep apnea,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would want a room where I could plug my machine in and sleep. So I would have
Yeah,
to
the
go the route
overnight
you're going
ferry
back.
is nice. Nitban was saying that the Sikhs are living here for more than a century now. They run a large part of the agricultural in the Central Valley. That's right. So it kind of has shifted
Hey,
over a little bit.
Crystal's here.
Crystal, good morning. Crystals and anime, they gave some pretty good reasons, comparative argument, or points. They're making points uh, in the comment section of whether they preferred living in the city, the differences between living in the city versus the province. I have to agree with them. Basically, share the same experiences as they do. That it's much, much more manageable, and happier place being in the province. But I love both of them. I mean, it's also less expensive to live in the province. Not only are you in a happier place, you escape, depending on where you are, you escape the pollution, not only air pollution, the noise pollution, all the rest that come with it, and
I,
the city, you're kind of stacked up. You're kind of stacked up.
Now, it just
Uh,
depends on what you mean by province.
yeah.
Now, if you're talking
Well,
about
yeah, because I
a
wouldn't
smaller,
say that's a
if
good
you're,
point, because Larry, I wouldn't say that Bye Bye City Leyte qualifies as being in the province.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yes.
I can handle bye bye,
Hmm.
but if you're putting me out in a province where I'm 20 miles or 20 minutes away from a town where I can do anything,
Right.
uh, no, thank you. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Valencia. It's a small place, but they have coffee. They don't have a mall, but you don't need to go to a mall every day. But I'm just saying they
Oh,
got
I
restaurants.
do.
I can handle something that size. I
I
could.
need to go to the mall every day.
Well, I'm not saying I wouldn't if it's
Mm,
available. I'm just saying I don't. You know, but I'm saying I can handle a smaller town, but I want to be in a town where I can go get a bite to eat. I can go get some coffee.
right.
Uh, I don't want to be where I walk out and I don't see my neighbor till I walk for 10 minutes. That's not me.
Yeah, if there's not a Dunkin' Donuts there, I ain't living there, Larry.
Well, there you go. I did have to be a Dunkin'. It could be a Starbucks. It could be a Tim Hortons if they got it. Krispy
So
Kreme
Jerry
is
is
fine.
here. Jerry from South Texas. I live in the
Hey,
province life. Pangasanan is nice. Definitely don't want to be 5 minutes from the city. Hey, but uh, when are you going? When's your next journey over, Jerry? Because Pangasanan is also changing very rapidly, from what I understand. And Crystal is from there. She actually can tell us a little bit about what it's like in Pangasinan. I know parts of it are very provincial, but they got that. They got the this. It's growing pretty fast. I mean, there's all the luxuries of home there now. I mean, there's a Starbucks, uh, there's a McDonald's, they have a regional mall. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff happening in Pangasinan right now. So I
I
hope to
think
get there in the next couple of months or so.
didn't Tim do a video on on that city?
I'm not sure. I'm
Somebody,
not,
or maybe he was wanting to do one. I
but
think
I
it was.
know last time I was there, there was a Starbucks. So I mean, if that tells you, and that was a long time ago, but I was there at the Starbucks. So I mean,
Hey, that's good. I mean, like I said, you got to have somewhere to go to do something.
yeah.
Whether it's just to sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk with some friends, or and have a donut or a burger or whatever. To
So Jerry's saying he's been to Lingayen, and outside the city. I drove from Manila to Alaminos once. Beautiful place. Yeah, I like driving. I think I wouldn't be afraid of driving in areas north of Manila because it's so it's not exactly the killer or be killed type of traffic that you get when you're in the city. That's for sure. All right, so let's see what were you. Oh, I was going to talk about the apartment. So I talked a little bit about it on Larry's channel yesterday or day before, whenever it was, day or night. Um,
hey,
but
Mabel.
but is Mabel here? Where is she?
Yeah, she's
Is
here.
she
She
in
just
here?
came in.
Ah, thumbs up and sure. Thank you so much, Mabel Torres. She's been working hard coming up with names also. By the way, before we move forward, just wanted to say this will be the last live stream once it goes to video that you have the last opportunity to make name suggestions for this channel and a chance at winning 5K Filipino pesos. Once this goes to video, make sure you put your suggestion in the comment section because I will be reviewing everything today when we're down at Ayala. I'll be sitting up there probably at the terrace, probably in the terraces at Bo's Coffee if you want to come by and say hello. But I'll have my laptop and my phones out and I'll be going through all the name suggestions and I'll be announcing the winner of the 5K pesos name Dan's channel challenge will be Wednesday at the end of the stream. So a few minutes before the end of the stream, I'm going to let you know who's the winner. And I've gotten a lot of great suggestions. You guys have been working overtime coming up with names. And so I really, really appreciate your dedication and time. Uh, I really do appreciate it. I'm actually overwhelmed by the participation, quite
Now,
frankly.
on your last live stream, I will have a different background.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, I'm going to be at my sister's.
Ah,
I'm going to take my laptop with me and use
Oh,
her
good,
internet,
good.
so I should be able to come up and on your live stream then too. But like
Oh,
I
that
said,
sounds great.
it
I mean,
won't
I'm
be
all
my bedroom
excited
background.
because we're coming into Holy Week, and I mean, there's no perfect timing for someone to win 5K. 5K for coming up with the channel name. I mean, it's perfect timing. Holy Week.
Yeah. Holy Week and
Yeah.
Christmas is the best times.
Also, Jerry's saying my Facebook friends been there many times and other areas in Pangasinan. Most of their family are from Pangasinan. I'm staying in Laguna. Oh, okay. Nice area. All right. So, Oh, what's next? What's next? Okay. So the winner will be announced the end of the stream on Wednesday. On Wednesday, Philippine date and time. And also wanted to talk a little bit. I don't see Des. Des is
Hey
usually
Kim,
here.
how you doing? And we also got
Des,
a Margaret.
Tim's here, right?
Yeah.
Anime's here. Tim's here. All right. So just wanted to say that thank you, 10 people, for being in the chat. I truly appreciate it. Oh, by the way, I mean, thank you. I mean, really thank you, because my watch hours, my hits to my channel and my watch hours are going crazy right now. I think we could attribute that to doing live streams 3 times a week now, and also Ma'am Minnie's shorts. So the short videos are doing
They
pretty
say
good.
the shorts really help.
They help. They help on get the algorithm going. So you know what that's all about. YouTube probably trying to compete with TikTok. You know what's going on with TikTok, by the way. TikTok, Congress is trying to force TikTok to sell to an American entity. I mean,
They're
or
they're also
they're going to ban it from the United States if they don't
they're also
sell.
banning it from Congress. I mean, they're trying to get it banned where congressmen and senators can't use it.
Hmm.
You
You know
know.
what that's all about,
Oh,
don't
there's
you, Larry?
oh yeah, they're saying the Chinese are using it as a way to spy.
Yeah. But they also have video software. The video software that I use on the videos is also owned by the same company that owns TikTok.
Well, that's
So they
Chinese
say,
owned then.
yeah. So I found it to be amusing when I learned that TikTok isn't in China, by the way. It's
Yeah,
all over the rest of the world, but the Chinese don't
yeah,
allow it.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's because they know they're spying on people, and they don't want to spy on their own people, I guess.
5K tax free. I can live in peace a half a year. I don't party. Don't need to eat fast food. I hit up the calendarias. Yeah, that's living life to the fullest. We've been eating at a lot of calendarias, by the way, Jerry, since we've been here in Cebu. I love it. I'm telling you, I just love it. I love getting out there and absorbing that local culture. I love Cebu. I have that whole province city thing. That a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. I tell you, I just I just I just love life right now because I could float between the two so easily. I adapt so easily, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm just blessed. I'm just lucky. I'm just whatever you want to say.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll put it to you this way: you're wiser than I.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that being wise or being a wise guy
Wait, wait
has
a minute.
anything
You
to
got a
do with
chance
it.
to get a government job and you took it. I had a
Oh,
chance to get a
oh,
government
oh.
job and didn't.
The whole thing was by accident. Let me tell you,
Yeah,
the whole
like I
thing.
said,
It was.
my sister tried to
It's
get me to
fate,
take
my
one.
friend. It's fate. That's what we're talking about today.
Like I said, no, my sister tried to get me to join her at the welfare department.
Hmm.
If I'd have done that, I'd be a whole lot better off right now.
Right, that's where I was, but I had one of the best jobs that was
Yeah,
available.
but I'm just saying, though, just
Yeah.
working there would have improved my situation.
Right.
I
Right.
would have had a better retirement because I got a government retirement plus my Social Security.
It almost didn't happen. I'll tell you what was going on. So I was working as a contract um, security officer like you, and I was working in
Okay.
a government building just like you. I think I was working for Intercon or one of the big ones.
I
Anyway,
worked for Dead on Arrival.
dead on arrival,
Yeah,
DOA.
Department of Agriculture, DOA.
Yeah, I was in the State Board of Equalization office, and then I had taken the test, and it just so happened that timing is everything.
Yeah.
What was going on is they were having such a hard time recruiting people, and they kept calling me and calling me. I hadn't decided I wanted the job yet. The reason why is because I was wrapping up my master's degree at the time, and they had already told me it's not a good idea to go through training while you're working at your master's, especially if you're in classes that involve um, algebra or statistics. And it just so happened that I was right in the middle of my statistics class, and I was suffering through this whole thing. And they made this a specific requirement. I was on not academic probation, but I was on probation for the master's program, and
Yeah, you had to
uh,
maintain a certain GPA.
I had to
Yeah.
maintain a certain GPA, and also, well, you can't get any lower than a B, but
No,
they also
you can
put on
get a
a
grade. You can get a grade lower, but your
yeah.
average can't be lower.
No, on the master's program, if you get below a B, you're out of the program.
That-
So
That's for yeah, that's your average. I'm just saying you can have a
no,
class
it's
with
not average. It's in any
what
class.
the school I went to was
Yeah.
average, not the class. Because I got an
No.
F. I
In the
got an F on a
master's,
class and had to
yeah,
retake it and got an A, but my
yeah,
GPA was 3.25.
right.
Now, if I hadn't got
No,
that F, because
they don't do
our,
that there. In the
well,
program I
honestly,
was
the school I
in,
went to, they never like on your undergrad. If you retake the class, they drop the lower grade. You get the higher
yeah,
grade. The
yeah.
graduate level doesn't. That lower grade still counts towards your GPA.
No, that
No,
isn't
I'm
the
just
way they
saying where I
do
was
it.
at school. And so when I retook it, I got an A, but that F stayed on my it stays on my transcript. It's on my transcript.
This
But
happened to
my
a friend of mine. This happened to a friend of mine. So he goes that it was a comparative law class.
oh,
So
I'd have got an A in that one.
the professor was a graduate. I think she got her PhD at McGill University in Canada. And so one thing that I knew is you can't is listen, do not screw with somebody who graduated from McGill. I'm just saying. And so I knew better. I knew better. And so I had a very difficult assignment.
Yeah. Well,
So
so,
I think my assignment was my assignment had to do with juvenile justice crimes and their punishment in Muslim countries. That was my assignment.
oh, that would be
So
tough.
yeah,
Muslim
it was
country.
tough. It was tough, so I knew that I was going to have to come up with something that was quite different, quite
Yeah.
innovative.
Yeah.
Dig a little
Well, the
bit
reason,
deeper. But now a friend of mine, so he was tasked with a friend of mine that I really admired was tasked with doing a report on juvenile justice system. Guess where? In Canada.
yeah.
And I had met with him. I said, "Hey, you cannot f this up because this is her field." And so the first thing that I advised him to do was go get one of her published books and start reading it from cover to cover. But
And,
I'll tell you what, if I had to do this, if I were assigned, right? If I were assigned this, I'm just packing up my books and saying, "All right, well, the master's thing didn't work out."
well, no,
What ended up
what
happening?
I would have done, like you said, go get her books. And believe me, I would cite her work quite heavily.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, of course you
oh
would. Yeah. Of course
yeah,
you would. Yeah. So anyway, this
you
was
want all the, you want all the advantages that you can get, and you're using a reliable source. You just happen to be buttering up your own professor. Now,
well,
see,
here's
my
Tim. Tim got it. Tim got the way this thing worked. To become a physician assistant at one time, if you flunked one quiz, you were kicked out of school, and that's how this program worked.
well, like I
So
said, but I got, like I said, with
Guess
the
who
F
got
I got,
kicked out? Guess who got kicked out of the program?
the kid that you told him do the.
He didn't even get 5 minutes into his public presentation when she went up there and said, "Oh, can I see you out?" I mean, we knew he was done. Can I see you outside in the hallway for a second? Never to be seen or heard from again. And
Well,
I
like I
know
said,
and I know why, right? Because once he started talking, my face just started turning red. Because because I knew the major F up that he made.
what did he
And
do? What did he do?
I knew he was
Plagiarize?
done. Huh?
Did he plagiarize?
He made a major faux pas, and it was obvious that he was done. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I was going to say that what happened to me with that grade I got,
Yeah.
I overextended myself. You're talking about not trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
I was going full time college, graduate level, and I was working 40 hours a week.
Right.
So the next after that semester, I cut back to just taking 6 hours a semester, and also she gave me an assignment, and I was just so. The worst part about was when I was working the 40 hours a week, I was working 2 day shift, two second shift, and an overnight shift. So I was working all three shifts every week, and I just got so burned out that some of the assignments I just didn't do, and I never went in to talk to her to let her know what was going on, which I would have if I had. I should say if I would have. If I have done it, I'm sure she would have gave me an incomplete, and I could have took it the next time. And because I had nothing but A's and B's on my test, all my
Mm-hmm.
tests were almost A's, but I didn't do the homework assignment. Go here, do this paper, and that, and I just it was my fault, and I don't blame her for giving me the grade she gave me. And but like I said, where I was at, it was maintaining a 3.25 or a 3.0. I can't remember which. I had a three. No, it was 3.0 because I had a 3.25.
Yeah,
And
I'd already been told. I'd already been told that if you get one grade beneath a B, then you're out. I've already been told that.
yeah, well, see that wasn't the way it was at my school.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for that F, I'd have had a 3.75.
Yeah. I
But
don't remember what my GPA is. I just remember.
well, I do because of that F. That really hurt my GPA.
Yeah, I'm sure mine wasn't anywhere near that.
But
Uh,
what hurt
but
my
anyway, so what happened was I was in the middle of doing that, and I had to get by statistics, and we had this professor. So my graduate coordinator, who since passed away, a great man, a former police chief of the city of Vallejo, California, had said to me, that Dan, you need to go to Sacramento City College in order to get that statistics done. And I was like, I just didn't want to do it. And he kept encouraging me, man, go get it done there, get the undergraduate coursework and stats done, and we'll accept that. And I didn't want to do it. And so I got together with a few friends that were getting ready to embark on the same class, and I said, what are you guys going to do? What are you guys going to do for stats? And they said, oh, we're going to stay here, And I said, what, you're going to go do what? And he said, we're going to go see Professor Gill. I said, who's Professor Gill? I said, he's been teaching here for quite a few years, 30 plus years. And he's still doing statistics using pencil and paper. I said, what? He's not using SSPS you know, for Windows or something, they go, nope, he's using pencil and paper. Oh my gosh, that's the guy. That's the guy. If he's using pencil and paper and we're doing algebraic equations, and stuff like that, I said I probably would make it because I probably would need a tutor or something, but I probably would make it. So let's go sign up. So we all actually went there to Professor Gill's office. He's since passed away also.
Hey,
And
Elva, I didn't see you come in. Elva's here.
hey, how you doing? We we sat down with them, all three of us, and we said, well, we want to join the class, but we all know that we're going to need help. And we each explained our individual situation to the professor. And he sort of looked at us and he chuckled and he said, well, okay, I'll go ahead and take you three in, but I want you to go ahead and get some tutoring from this guy. And he writes down the tutor's name and then he gives us his phone number, his personal phone number. And so we called him and then we set up an appointment. We jumped in. Well, the tutor was like, I mean, the tutor is like a brainiac, and I could already see after a couple of meetings he was already getting frustrated with us. He just wanted out of it. I was like, well, I don't know what to do, So anyway, I hung in there, I hung in there. My other two classmates dropped out, but I had to do it because the professor had already told me, okay, you're passing on my suggestion that you go to Sac City College to get it. You want to play with the big boys here. He said, so if you don't make it out of that class, Dan, I'm dropping you out of the program. I mean, he just flat out told me.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
just said, well,
at the criminology, which is what I studied,
yeah.
they had their own statistic class, which was easier because really in criminology you don't use a lot of statistics, but it's like you said, it's a required course. So they had their own, which was a lot easier than the other. So most of us in crim took it, you know, and so yeah,
Who's
that's what we
scratching
did.
those tickets? Nip Band, who are you guys talking about in there?
Low roller,
Low roller scratcher.
yeah.
I haven't been in low rollers channel in a
Well,
long time.
I don't know who brought it up first, but I noticed that uh, Jerry was saying he wished Low Roller would visit the Philippines. You
Yeah.
know how he always had such an opinion on things
Yeah, he has
about
an
the
opinion, a
Philippines
lot of opinion
and
that we
never been there.
yeah. All right. So anyway, back all's well that ends well. So what happened was I was in the middle of that class when they came knocking on the door saying we wanted to hire you. So it turns out I'd said I was doing this, and they were saying, "Man, you're going to have to make a decision what you're gonna do, right?" And I said, "Well, I go, I'll just do both. I'll have to suck it up. I'll do both." And so here I go into training with them, and of course, everything was pencil and paper with them too. So when you first start, you have to learn how to do eligibility, and they were teaching that longhand. They had none of this computer stuff. So here
Well,
now I got stats going on over here, and I'm doing computation over here, and I would get things all mixed up. So one day they call me into my employer's office, the director of the program, um, for the training program. Evelyn was her name, yeah. And they said, "Hey," she calls me and she's, "Dan, we told you not to do this. You're really messing up on these quizzes, man." And she pulls them out. And she starts showing me, fail, 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 fail. I just shake my head, and they gave me the what's up. They said you're on probation with us, and so I'm just gonna tell you straight up, we're gonna dump you off if you don't improve your scores. So anyway, as luck would have it, that class ended, and I ended up coming out of there. I ended up coming out. They use frequency distribution for determining the grade, and once Professor Gill, he sort of winked at me. He says, "Hey Dan, I'm doing grades, right?" I go, "I imagine you're using statistics." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Good guess." So I'm going to use you know I'm going to use the mean. I'm going to use the mean score. And so once he said that, I was like, "Professor, if you use mean average, I'm going to get an A." And he just winked at me. He just sort of winked at me. He goes, "Well, I'm not sure you're going to end up with an A, but you'll probably do okay, because you've been doing okay on on your test scores. So I remember walking across campus, and the professor was coming towards me, and he had a great big grin on his face. And then he says, "Hey Dan," he says, "I have your score. I'm going over to administration right now to record them right now." I go, "Really? Did I pass?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "You did pass. You passed with a pretty good grade too." And I go, "That's fantastic." So you didn't get the A. He said you ended up with a B plus. He said, "But we don't give pluses, so you end up with the B, with a solid B." And I go, that's fantastic. And so I go reverse course, head over to the coordinator's office, and I go in there and I said, "Guess what? You're stuck with me. I got a B." He goes, "You're lying to me, Dan. You're lying to me." I said, "I'm not. I got a B." I said, "You could call Professor Gill right now." And he goes, "Man, I lost the bet, Dan." He says, "I lost the bet." I go, "You should not. You got to go with me next time, Professor. You got to go with me. I'm going to come through every single time." And so we got by that. I only had one professor that I had conflict with, and that was some kind of history class. I can't remember what kind of history class it was. Where he was talking about the Reconstruction era. And of course I was like, well, United States we're nothing but a bunch of big bullies. He didn't like my comment, and
Hey,
and he's,
Peter, how you doing? Peter Barbera's here.
"Hey, Peter, come on up if you'd like." And so he hated me. He hated me for saying that. Generation and when you went to school and when you were raised has everything to do with. I realized later people's viewpoints of the world, their view of the world. Hey, I'm a little bit dehydrated, so I'm taking my own advice and I'm down some Gatorade. All right. So anyway, I made it through both, and then once I got into human services, at the welfare office, they moved me right away into a position where they needed me for keeping track of statistics. And so I ended up going that direction, working special projects, and I ended up getting a promotion or two, and the rest is history. Here I am. Yeah. Nipan says, "Dan,
You had 11 months.
I finished my master's 11 months. Didn't have any life for 11 months other than happy hour." Yeah, it took me. What did it take me? Yeah, it was a straight 2 years of nights to get that degree.
Peter says he's too busy. He's on a coffee break. He's getting ready for autumn planting.
Mm, very good, man. Get that squash and those potatoes and all that other stuff. Pumpkin, get that pumpkin and watermelon and whatever else planted.
I'll take some watermelon.
I mean, we got our guys working full time right now. Uh, two gardens. We got two big gardens going right now because, well, you know what's about ready to happen, Peter. Don't be sitting on your hands, man. You got to be out there working, getting the stuff planted. That's where we're at too. All right. So of course my hands aren't dirty. I don't have any dirt underneath my fingernails. That's because I don't have any fingernails.
I
So
got
anyway,
fingernails.
so 23 years later, so it's a nice save. 23 years later, boom, retirement. It went
There
by
you
really
go.
fast.
Well, like I said, now I would have retired probably after 30 years
Yeah.
because I was only in my 30s, and this I,
Yeah, I was in
I
my
hadn't even started
40s.
my master's yet.
I
I
was
hadn't even
already
started my
42.
master's yet when she tried to get me to do this job. So I
Hmm.
was in my mid 30s, and I probably would have worked till I got my Social Security. Unlike my
Right.
sister, she went ahead and retired at 55, but she'd been working there a while, and she got a new boss. She didn't like the boss,
Mm.
so she went ahead and retired. She was planning on working until 62.
You kind of, I've run into those situations, you kind of just go with the flow and forget about it.
Yeah. Well,
See,
she
I
didn't
was
like her
lucky.
boss, and
I was lucky. Nobody knew what I did for a living.
well, she didn't
I
like
mean,
her
there's
boss,
only
so
there's
she
only one
she
of
had
me.
the time in. She was old enough, so she retired. She
Yeah.
works like 3 days a week now. Still hadn't taken her Social Security yet. She's not even 62 yet. That'll be on the 1st of April.
Tim says, I did a 12-minute presentation with 4-hour notice. My professor gave me a perfect score. Little did I know he was on the board of the directors for my topic company. Oh, good. See, that's how you score big, man. That's how you score big. You got to know who you're doing your presentation to, what they're all about. All right, so tempting fate. We were talking about the apartment. We got talking about this. The apartment. So the apartment is like a loft, and that's what impressed me about it. So it's okay. There are plenty of high-rise buildings here, like this cockroach-infested place where I'm at now that I can't stand. I've been here for 8 days almost. I'll be happy to say goodbye to it. And there were apartments available for rent in here. And I know a lot of people want to live here, but it ain't my cup of tea. So I had given up. I'd given up until Leonard Lund had recommended.
A brilliant suggestion by Leonard.
Yeah. And so,
Hey, Leonard, how you doing? He just got here.
oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah. And still, I was ready to give up because we'd seen 5 or 6 apartments, and I just wasn't. I was happy with one of the 5, but it was very, very expensive.
Well, I like the sound of the place. I like the sound of the place that you got.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
do a video
it's,
on it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it might be a little more expensive than what I want. It's not out of my price range, all right.
Yeah.
But what I really like about it, you're in the heart of where things are at,
Mm-hmm.
so you pay a little extra for that.
Yeah.
Plus, you can hire somebody to come in once a week and clean your place, or you can probably do it twice a week if you want. And it's very
Well,
affordable.
Eleanor, she was even saying that when she was doing her research on this apartment, that she damn near fell off her chair when she started looking at the amenities there. Because she said, "Huh, can't be right." And then even if you look on the outside of the building, it's so nondescript because what you see is you see the 7-Eleven store or the Quickie Mart. It's not a 7, it's like a Quickie Mart. You see the banks, and they're all kind of like lined up the way that you would see them in a strip mall.
That would
And
be
then
a
you look up and you see several stories of balconies, so you can't really see over the top of them because when you're looking up or you're looking from the street, you're just seeing
the
the top
balconies, yeah.
of doors, and you can't really tell if they're businesses up there or what they are. And then you go into the interior, and the interior is set up like I don't know how to explain it. Yet if you go into a prison, for example,
Been there.
yeah, you go into a minimum security prison.
I've been in a minimum and a maximum both.
Okay, then
And
you
I've
know
been
what
in a
a
boys'
pod
school.
looks like. You know what a
I've been
pod
in a
looks like.
juvenile, and I've been to a women's
Yeah.
prison.
So
But I
this,
did that
so
on as part of a field trips
if
for my
you've been, if you've
criminology.
been in a juvenile detention center, that's what it looked like. So if
Okay.
you go in there, you'll see a common area, and then from that common area, you can look and you see that the apartment doors are all lined up.
Uh, you want to know what juvenile school, juvenile detention center I was at?
Huh?
The same one that Charles Manson was at.
Oh, was he a troubled youth also?
Yeah. So you look it up. He
You
was at
know,
Rockville. He was in Rockville Juvenile Detention Center in Park County, Indiana. Uh, and I was there before they did it. Then they switched
yeah,
it over to a female prison. Okay. And when they switched it over, they still had the boys there. And can you figure out what happened? Some of those girls had sex with the juveniles and got pregnant.
right, right. Well, I actually took a tour when he was in the infirmary at Vacaville, so I was there when he was there.
Yeah, I wasn't. He was long gone by the time I was at.
Yeah, he was
But
in the
but in,
infirmary at
now
Vacaville
in
when we
Terre
took a
Haute,
tour.
they have a federal minimum and they have a federal maximum, and Terre Haute's the only one with the death chamber in the federal system. All right. Now I've been in both. Uh, the minimum, they don't even have a fence around it.
Okay, Jerry, we'll see you later.
Bye, Jerry. But like I said, the
Hey,
minimum
Jerry.
just said
See
you
you
got.
later.
They call it the farm, I guess, because they do some farming or something. But
Hey,
when you go
Robert,
in,
how's it going?
Hey, Robert. How are you?
hey Robert, how you doing, brother? But the maximum, I had a friend that was a prison guard at this federal prison guard, and I was going in along with my class, and he's up in the tower, the gun tower, and he yells down, "When you lock him up, don't let him out." It's like, oh God, Kenny, what are you doing to me?
Hey, by the way, they were telling me that even though a lot of those apartments are rented out, they hardly see anybody, and the reason is because they're travelers.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and so they use that just the same way we're going to be using it, as the home away from home.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, if I ended up going there for any length of time, because I do want to, if I have my health, when I finally do retire, I do want to go to Cebu and visit the place. I don't mean that doesn't mean I want to live there. I also would like to go to. If you guys are in Cebu, I'll visit you there. But if you're in Bye Bye, wouldn't mind going to Bye Bye and saying hi to you. I want to go to Davao. I'd like to go to Iloilo and then also the Cavite area and
Yeah, I
maybe.
hope I get a chance to see Iloilo someday. I wasn't like I said on a previous chat. I'm not impressed with Davao.
Well, like I said,
I know a lot of people like it, but
the thing I like
yeah.
about Davao, there's a couple of things really. One is very clean. Two, they have more traffic lights, and three, they got the 911 system. Those are the three
Yeah.
things I like about Davao.
That's the
Yeah.
things I like
Now,
about it, too.
yeah.
It
Now,
seems
what I
like
like
people
about
either like it or hate it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
what
don't
I like
hate it.
about
I don't hate it. It just doesn't resonate for me. I
like I
think
said,
Yeah.
one of the reasons, like for example, like I found this to be very, very curious. So, for example, you guys know the last attack that they had against the last attempt, which pretty much petered out, was no offense there, Peter, if you're still in the chat, was they had that gal with the backpack, and everybody was hanging. So here's what happened. All right, across the street from the mall or their hotel, what's the name of it? The fancy one that no one can afford to stay at. I can't remember the name of it. There's a
Sounds like a
coffee
Hilton.
shop. Yeah, it's called something. They have one here. They have a couple of two or three of them around, but
they got
uh,
they. I can't remember, but they got one
it's
in
Sister
Manila.
Hotel. Yeah, it's Sister Hotel. Is it the Marco Polo? Yeah, the Marco Polo. Okay, so it's a 4 or 5 star hotel, depending on what city you're in, right? So in Davao, they're across the street from the hotel. There's an open eating area with a coffee shop. This is where all the foreigners hang out. So I remember walking by there. I remember walking by there and thinking to myself, "Wow, this is a really really nice place to have a cup of coffee." And I looked around and go, "Maybe not. It kind of looks like it's a little bit too vulnerable to a terrorist attack." And sure enough, a couple of months later, they go in there with a backpack bomb and they blow the place up.
Oh,
I'm going
shoot.
now. It's very very interesting because I'm just the average, not
You
normal, but I'm
just
an
you
average
just got
Joe.
done telling people about it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I'm looking around.
you
Yeah,
might be looked at as a co-conspirator there.
yeah. That's the whole thing. The whole thing is, if I can see how vulnerable it is, then why can't other people see how vulnerable it is? And so since then, right? So now I want to tell you another thing about Davao, and this is probably the reason why it kind of makes me nervous. is because whenever I visit a place, right, I'm looking for two things, right? I'm looking for number one, what's my escape route in the event that something takes place?
That's always a good idea.
And where am I going to be seated in there in order to access that escape route before anybody else does?
Right.
And if your mindset is not like that, when you come here, then you better stay home.
No,
Because
your
you
mindset has to be that way here.
it has to absolutely that I got good training in the States, in California,
Yeah.
Sacramento. Your head has to be on a swivel. Your head
Yeah.
always has to be on a swivel. And
Nip
so
And
Nip
Houston's
Band just
even
told me why
worse.
you don't like Deval, Dan. Nip Band just said why you don't like Deval.
what was
No
it?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, so I want to give you my second example. I go into this mall and I'm looking around. I'm saying, I started looking around in this mall and I said, this mall is a fire trap. I'm just looking around. This thing's a fire trap. And so I spend like maybe now I was there with friends and they were saying how popular this mall is and blah 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 and how everybody comes here and stuff like that. I started looking around. I thought to myself, I go, I apologize. I just don't feel comfortable in this place. I can't really explain it. It just it it doesn't feel right in here to me. And the host that I was with says, "Well, Dan, what's the problem?" I go, uh, generally, I feel comfortable just about. I mean, like Ayala, any mall here in Cebu, I feel comfortable in because I could see the escape routes. And I said, I just can't see where one would escape in the event of a fire. And then she goes, "You're so silly, Dan." I go, so I said, "Well, can we like only spend like 10 or 15 minutes here and then get the heck out because I feel very uncomfortable here." She said, "Sure, sure." And so we went in there and she spent 10 or 15 minutes. We looked around, then we left, and that turned out to be the mall that caught fire and burnt to the ground. I mean, you see, so I think that those are the reasons why. There are other reasons,
Well,
recycling bins are nice. Having recycling bins are nice. Having weekly trash pickup is very nice. Having homeless people picked up in the middle of the night before sunrise by police officers in a white van, not so nice.
Well,
I'm
not
just
maybe
saying.
not if you're
I'm
the
just
homeless
saying.
person, but it keeps
And never to
it
be
keeps them
seen
out
or
of
heard
trouble.
from, never to be seen or heard from again. That's not nice.
as long as you're not homeless, you're all right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And remember,
So
camp
there.
camp
You'll go
outside the
there.
city limits, not inside the city limits.
Yeah, listen,
Right.
I have no quarrel or critique of anybody or anything,
You know
but
what they
I
do in
found it
Hawaii with
odd.
people that are homeless?
Yeah, just like
If they're not
observing
from
those
Hawaii,
things, I
they put them on
observed
a plane
this.
and send them back to the mainland.
No dogs, no cats, no stray cats running around. No
That's
dogs,
because,
no stray cats.
Yeah.
but like I said, it's a place I'd be interested to check out. Elo, I think I'd like probably a little bit better. I really like that river
Well, the
walk.
management approach is different there. In
Well,
other words,
they really, they really,
Iloilo Iloilo is managed like a Western city.
they got a very forward-thinking mayor. They
Forward
really
thinking
do.
manager, yeah. Forward
Yeah.
thinking manager.
Hello,
And
Larice.
so that's quite different than the way that Deval operates under
Tim goes, Dan, you are a
the
jinx.
threat of fear. And generally speaking, as you say, if you like boring, then you'll like Deval. If you like boring, you'll like Bye Bye City. Also,
Well,
so
what are you looking for, Dan? Why it's boring? You
huh?
want more gunfights in the street or
No,
bombings
I don't
or
want that kind of excitement.
well,
I don't want. I'm
I
not
want
looking for that kind of excitement.
uh,
But I do like to people watch, and I do like. I like to see people's
But see,
behavior, but
I can do that is
not
great
having
during the day. At
duels in the
nighttime,
middle of the street like the
I
old west.
like I said, At nighttime, I want it quiet. I don't mind the
Yep.
roosters, the dogs is fine, but I don't want a lot of. I'm not. Like I said, I really don't drink anymore. I'm not against drinking. I just, unless if somebody comes over or if I go to somebody's house and I'm not going to be driving and they offer me a drink, I'll have it. But if I'm
Yeah.
driving, I don't drink. And of course, now I'm going to tell you now where you're at, now, where your place is going to be at in Cebu would be perfect for me because you can walk to everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would love that. I actually like walking. I know I'm overweight, but I do like to walk. I walk.
I'm
I
not
walk.
walking in Davao. I could tell you that.
You're
Well, it
not?
depends on where you live.
No,
Why is
If
that?
you live close,
because
because the
Davao is a series of
Because it's
rolling
safe.
hills.
Yeah. Oh,
It's just
you don't
up,
want to climb
left.
those hills, huh?
I'm not climbing them. Nope. I don't want to have a. I don't want to go before my time.
well, if you live close, there was one place that Geo stayed that was close to one of the malls, so you could
Yeah.
walk to that mall if you lived where he was at.
And then
But
you
he
walk
said,
around the
I
mall,
forget
so
how
that'll
far
get
the
your
malls
steps.
were apart that you just couldn't really walk back and forth to different malls.
Oh, you
You
guys are
know,
having fun in the chat, aren't you?
Yeah, they are.
Hey, Tagum City, I thought was um, my best bet if I wanted to live in that part of the country. So there was a time that I looked at Tagum City and I thought that place looks like it's going to be happening, and it is because as they develop it, they're
Yeah.
putting in infrastructure. They're doing things the way that it's a city that's just in its infancy. And so
Yeah.
when you have just nothing but flat land to work with, you have a leg up on when building a city because you could put all the infrastructure in as you go along. It's not going to cost a fortune. Do
Yeah,
your,
that's true.
do your
now, Peter, I'm going to have to agree with you. He says being a gamer and never leaving your room sounds like hell to me. I wouldn't enjoy that either.
yeah.
But
I don't think
I
that's the
don't want
way
to
to
go to the
go.
bar and get drunk and
Yeah.
chase skirt. And that's not me. I
No.
would rather go to the Dunkin' or Starbucks or what's that other one? Bose Coffee. One
Yeah.
of those places. Sit down, have a cup of coffee, and maybe a bite
Bose,
to eat.
second floor at Ayala. But here's what happened, right? So Bose, let's talk about Bose Coffee since you brought it up. So I think that most expats know if you're coming to Cebu and you want to meet a young lady, you go to Bo's coffee shop on the second floor of the terraces
In
at
other words,
Ayala.
that's not a place for me to go to.
At Ayala, and you hang out there, right?
No thanks.
And so it's a lovely place to get sun if you go out there in the outdoor in the terraces. It's a lovely
I don't,
place.
uh, Dan. I don't want the sun.
So I enjoy. Well, they have umbrellas. Thankfully, they have umbrellas. Fresh air
Okay.
is probably the
Oh
way.
no, no,
Fresh
no.
air is probably the way I should.
That's why I was asking about balconies. I like during the summer months after the
Yeah,
sun's no longer shining on my balcony and on my days off, I'll go out there and sit and have either a cup of coffee or a glass of tea or something
yeah,
and just enjoy the weather.
yeah. No,
Uh,
I don't think you're gonna have a problem finding a place like that
that's what
here
I'm
at
looking for.
all.
Someplace that I can walk to get a cup of coffee. If I can have a balcony that I can have at least some shade either in the morning or the afternoon.
Yeah.
I prefer afternoon because I work mornings. So on my days off, if I have to choose when I come home in the afternoon, I can still sit on the porch. Or excuse me, my balcony. It's not really a porch, not balcony, my patio.
Well, my point
Yeah.
is that
But
it's a
you're
very
not
good,
going to
nice
be
place to. It's a
you're
very
not going to
nice
be
place to
working when
keep
you
it.
get over here. So,
No,
Yeah,
that's why I said it doesn't matter as long as I got shade at one of the two times.
right.
it's a very nice place to
Where
keep
I'm
it.
at
Watch. I
now,
guess is my point.
I got it in the afternoon. But like I said, I like to where Dan's at because you can hire somebody to clean it. You're close to the mall. You're close to there's a mini mart downstairs. You can always pop down there and get something if you want. I'm sure you can walk to a couple of other places. There's probably a couple of restaurants you
Oh
can
yeah,
walk to.
there's all kind of restaurants all up and down that street.
Oh yeah,
Well,
over there would be.
Yeah.
in my
Well, I'm
apartment in
just
Terre
I'm
Haute,
just glad Eleanor hooked you up.
except my apartment in Terre Haute, I could walk to a
I was
gas
getting a little
station
bit
in 4
nervous
blocks.
there, Leonard.
Yeah.
A
Well,
Dairy Queen was 4 blocks. A grocery store was 2.5 blocks.
Yeah.
Unless I was going to buy a lot of groceries, I didn't have to drive anywhere. On my
yeah,
days off. If I wanted to go to a bar, it was 4 blocks away, and they
that's
had good
walking
they
distance.
had a good
So
restaurant part too. So I mean, I didn't have to worry about stuff. And my place in
Hey,
Leroy, I didn't
Crystal,
like the bars I could walk to, so I didn't go to bars.
Nitban can be very. He is very quick. He's very stealthy too. Yeah, he's like a ninja. He's like a ninja, Crystals.
yeah, Crystals, how are you? I don't know if I said hello or not.
Hey, so let's talk about tempting fate. Tempting fate.
Well, we tempt fate every time we wake up.
No,
Oh yeah.
no.
Every
Uh,
time I walk out that door,
it's yeah,
I told you about me
Yep.
falling the other night, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right, I had a motorcycle wreck years ago, and I cut my chest from about here to here. Uh, it was only about maybe an inch or so deep, about 6 inches long. Got gravel up in it, so I go to the emergency room, and the doctor goes, "You know where I can get a good bite cheap?" And I said, "Blank no." He goes, "You mean you're gonna ride that bike again?" I said, "Doc, I walked across the street, got hit by a hit and run driver in Long Beach, California. I still cross streets." And
Uh-oh.
oh, that's just
Somebody's
somebody.
calling you.
Yes, it's somebody I'm not answering. I'll just turn that down. But
All right.
anyway,
There's
I
always
said,
that.
yeah. Oh,
But
somebody from Facebook. I don't know him. I don't answer calls from Facebook. Now, if Dan called me, I'd answer. Robert will tell you that I answered Robert. It's got to be
Yeah.
somebody I know, not just a Facebook acquaintance. I know Dan. I
Yeah.
know Robert. I know you. If you guys called me on Facebook and I see that it's you, I would answer. But I told the guy, I said, I've wrecked bicycles. I still ride bicycles. I've wrecked cars. I still drive cars. So if I quit doing
Yeah.
everything I got hurt at, I'd never get out of bed.
That
You
is
know?
true.
the
Yeah.
definition, you're kind of right, Leonard. When you wake up and you get our age, you're kind of tempting fate. To do, oh, I got this definition from the freedictionary.com. I'm looking at it now. To do something, this is number one, tempt fate. To do something that one knows is dangerous or likely to have a negative outcome. You're really tempting fate by not taking your car in for service when all these dashboard lights are on. That's the example they use. That's funny.
That's a good one.
Yeah, number two, to invite bad luck or unpleasant situations by showing one's confidence in something, as in, I'm afraid to tempt fate, but I really think I did well on the exam. So you don't talk about it. Right? That's
Right.
something we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, tempt the fate. Take a severe risk, as in it's tempting fate to start up that mountain so late in the day. But people do it. Or um, Patrice thought driving that old car was tempting the fate. It was sure to break down. This expression uses tempt in the sense of test in a way that involves risk or danger. Earlier idioms with similar meaning were tempt God, dating from the 1300s, and tempt fortune, first recorded in 1603, and with fate appearing in 1700s. They cite the American Heritage Dictionary of Idioms by Christine Amir, copyright 2003. Huh. Interesting. Well, we often do that though. I don't do it so much anymore. But
Well, like you said, though, driving, you tempt
tempting
fate
fate is
on
getting
every
into
time
a
Yeah.
you drive to work because you know there's that possibility of a wreck.
Yep.
But Larry, apply it to the Philippines because it's a
I just stay
Filipino
home.
term, huh? Tempting fate by
I don't
getting into
drive.
a
I don't.
Jeep. Tempting fate by getting into a Jeep. Are you tempting fate by getting into a trike? Are you tempting fate by
With me,
riding a
yeah.
motorcycle in the Philippines?
Well, see, it depends. I think it depends on where you're at. If you're in Cebu, uh, I think you're tempting fate driving you driving the motorcycle.
Hey,
Uh,
when you're younger, Knit Band, you tend to tempt fate a lot more than when you start getting older. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
I believe you're correct.
oh, by the way, Leonard, Crystal said thank you for your comment.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Did I
Okay.
tempt fate yesterday? Yes, I did. What did I
Yep.
do? I tested fate by crossing the street
Yep.
in the
Now, didn't that
Philippines.
man, you're right. Getting into a jeepney or a trike is part of the life in the Philippines.
Yep.
I totally agree. When I was in the Navy, I took the jeepneys, but I was 100 and some pounds lighter. You know,
Turn away and
Well.
run from them. But even turning away and running is tempting fate, is it not,
oh yeah,
Crystal? I mean, Crystal's is cracking me up. Turn and
Yeah.
run, turn and run, and then there's no place to run to.
no, you're
Yep.
chasing death, she says.
Well, either that or you trip and they catch you.
Yeah, because so here's what happens. Crossing the street here on this busy
Frogger.
street, yeah, it's like a game of Frogger. And so
I used to tell Chris to play Frogger all the time.
but what I notice
Yeah.
is if you're facing the direction of traffic, you can let the driver will they drive. I'm telling you, they drive very, very fast here, but they also are very, very aware of their surroundings. So if
They
you
have
could
to
look,
be, or they be wrapped around a light
yeah,
bulb.
if you could see the whites of their eyes, then you could let them know what your direction of travel is going to be. And
Right.
so, and what I do oftentimes is
Yeah.
I'll look at them and I'll go like this. I'll say, go, and then I'll go, and then I'll go, or I'll go, I'm going. Stop for me, I'm going. And so, in other words, you learn these hand signals that indicate to them that you're gonna take the risk and you're gonna cross their path, or you're not. I'm stopping.
I'm going to tell you the truth now.
No,
When
lie to us, Larry. Lie to us.
I know,
Please lie to us.
whenever I tell you I'm going to tell you the truth, I'm going to lie to you. All right, just take that as it is. But anyway, what I'm saying is, when I first get there, no matter what city it is, I'm going to follow the locals. If I want to cross the street, I see some locals getting ready to go across, I'm going to jump in right behind them.
No,
Mhm.
that's the only way to
You
do it.
know? Oh
The
yeah.
only way to do it.
Until you
Well,
know and can trust yourself to do it on your own,
Yep.
you're still tempted fate that they know what they're doing, but there's a lot better
Right.
chance they know what they're doing than me knowing what I was
Yeah.
doing. And
Exactly.
I mean, here in the states, I know how to, you can tell whether or not, but we don't have the traffic because I'm in New York City. We got the traffic lights. In Albany, I got the traffic lights to cross
Right.
that.
And
You don't
that's one
have
of the
that
big
in some of those
advantages to the
cities.
Val.
well,
Yeah,
you
that's what I
have
said.
traffic lights here in Cebu. You have traffic lights all over the place. But as
What,
Nitman
three or
pointed
four of
out,
them?
you're still
Yeah,
taking your life
I
in
had
your
not
own
heard
hands.
that.
They have
What's
some
that?
in Smooth. They do. They
They
have
must
some,
have, but
They're
but they
everywhere.
don't
The
have too
United,
many.
hey, the
Unless they
International
built more
Monetary
than.
Fund, the United Nations, everybody is on the Philippines about, telling them you can't be, world class city without these things. The International Monetary Fund loans them money and says, okay, put a traffic light here. For example, I believe I was one of the first people to cross the first light when it became operational in Ermita. And so this was a fun experience because they had heck of police officers and traffic enforcements officers there, right there at Ermita. I can't think of the name of the street. Oh, it was. You guys will know it that have lived in Manila before. I've been in Manila, Mabini Street in Ermita, and I can't think of what the cross street is, but it was on Mabini, a very very busy street where the casino is, where the government-owned casino is. And so when they installed that traffic light, I was visiting Manila, and I was one of the first people to cross that crosswalk, and everybody was watching. I mean, everybody was watching. They had newspaper reporters, and they had police. They had police out there. They had traffic enforcers,
Well, they didn't
and
know how to do it.
you can see the look on those drivers' faces when they turned that thing on. They were outraged, and they were like, "Hell no, I'm not. I'm not. If you want me to stop, you better get your ass out of the way because I ain't doing it." And for the first, while I was standing there observing, for the first 15 or 20 minutes, the cops didn't want to have anything to do with it. They stood there, and when they tried to direct somebody to stop, and they point to the light, it's red, stop. They were trying to train them.
Yeah.
They realized that their own lives were in danger, and they needed to get the hell out of the way. So they left. They left the intersection because no one want. They didn't want. They weren't. They didn't want to die that day.
I don't blame them there.
And they let traffic go and go. So I stood there for 15 or 20 minutes watching this circus going on.
Yeah, I bet it
When
was.
all of a sudden a supervisor shows up, and he says, "You guys get your ass back out there in the street and do it now." And so a supervisor shows up on the scene and pushes them back out there and says, "If you don't, then go pack up your shit because you're out of a job." And they made them go back out there. And so and they resisted. They resisted. "Oh hell no, I ain't going back out there. I'm calling my union rep. You guys are crazy." And so it took a very long time, I guess about a week, in order for them to finally get it so that people were obeying the traffic lights. It was pretty interesting. It was
Yeah.
pretty interesting to watch.
Well, I'm sure there was some resistance in the States when they first started putting up traffic lights.
Peter, 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 pardon the pun, but you're killing me. You're killing me in there. He says, "Yeah, that's the reason why we should have crosswalks. It gives drivers a better target."
Yeah, they know where to aim. That's why I
Yeah.
like those pedestrian bridges. I had to think of the right
Yeah.
term.
Yeah,
Nipan,
those are really good.
they have bike riding clubs now here in Manila. You probably already know that. They have them here in Cebu and Baybay City. They have them all over.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's another thing about Iloilo. They have a lot of bicycle paths that are just for bicycles, and I guess they enforce it. Like I said, they got a very forward-thinking mayor. Now, could not. Might be able to, but I wouldn't want to live in the festive walk area. That's the more expensive part of Iloilo.
Mm.
But that's where all the malls and all that stuff is at.
Yeah.
I'd rather live a little bit away than commute. And like I said, you're still in the city limits, so you can walk to it. It just depends on how far away you live, or get a bicycle and ride a bicycle. And I guess their roads are well laid out too, from what I hear. So, but until
I
you
haven't
get
heard
there.
that much about. I've heard some, but not that much about Iloilo.
Well, there's a vlogger named Tito Temp, and that's where he's at now. He's getting ready to move back out to the province. He's got health problems, and it's headaches is what he gets. He gets real bad headaches. He was injured when he was in the Navy. And so anyway, he gets these real bad migraines, so he's taking some time off. He might post some things once in a while, but nothing like he used to. But he lived outside in the province, and they built a house out there. And then they moved into Iloilo for a couple of years, and now they're going back out to the house where they're at now, and trying to decide, do they want to make it bigger, or do they want to go to another place where she's actually from? Where they're at is relatives' property, and they let them build a place on it, and they lived there for rent free for a few years. I mean, he paid for
Hi,
electricity
Mike.
too. But
Thanks for coming again. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
hey,
Hey,
Mike, hey Joe, how you doing?
you're welcome to come up anytime and join in the chaos. Elo, I gotta go see it. I gotta go see it for myself. I'll let you know. I'm very opinionated. I won't hold back. I won't hold back.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just something I would like to see. Uh,
Well, it's like I want to see Siggy Horror.
See, Sicky Horror
Oh,
would be interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to live there.
dun dun
No, I just want to visit it.
dun. You're not.
Yeah, I want to
So
see the
that's
I
what I'm
want to
saying.
see the witch doctor.
Yeah, exactly. The witch that lives in the tree. Dun dun
But the
dun.
thing
Yeah.
is, I would have to find. I'd want to find where I'm going to settle down at and
Nah.
all that long before I go to Sicky Horror. Now, if you already know where you're going to settle down at, then you can start making plans.
Yeah.
But
Well, I've
I
got it
have no
narrowed down
place.
to just a couple of spots, but because of
There's
that,
about.
I got to visit a couple places.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I like Dumaguete Valencia area. That's an area I'd be kind of interested in. Cebu. Then you got, like I said, Davao, Iloilo,
So
and the Cavite area.
Mike is saying that
Okay.
they shut down whole sections of roadway to cars in San Francisco to keep it open for pedestrian traffic.
I'm not
Mike, hey
surprised.
Joe, I agree with you. I'm not ready. I'm ready to retire. I just can't retire yet, and I'm old enough. But I have some bills I want to get paid off. My mother's still alive. She's 97, and so I'm not going anywhere where I'd be that far away to retire. I mean, I'm just not going to retire over there. I don't think I'll make a trip over there until after she passes away. Now that may change. You never know. Uh,
Oh yeah, everything's subject to change.
yeah, you know, I don't play the lottery much. I did the scratch off ticket the other day,
You got to play
and
if you
one
want to
scratch,
win, bro.
but I won four
Yep.
dollars off a $2 investment.
Well, that's not
Dunkin'
bad.
Donuts, here I come.
But like I said, it's one of these that would pay you if I won the big one. It's $1,000 a week for life. Believe me, it wouldn't take me too long to get my bills paid off and retire once that happens.
Exactly.
You know, but
Then
it's a two
then you
dollar
could stay
ticket. It's like,
there until you got all your other business taken care of.
oh no, Mike, no, Mike. I live in Waterville, New York, which is right outside of Albany, New York. Uh, Leonard lives in Houston. Dan is in the Philippines. Uh, I've been checking out Filipino bloggers for a long time. I'd say,
And so have I.
oh, shoot, 5, 6, 7 years. I'd
Wow.
have to go back and figure it out.
Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't been that long, but about two
well,
and a half or
I've been
three.
I've been doing it for quite a while, 5 years minimum. Uh, so I started back when I was still working at Delphi in Henrietta. I was working as a recept. I was a security guard slash receptionist slash clerk. Uh, I worked the front desk, the visitors desk, and I let the visitors in, get their names, see who they were there to see, get a hold of the people they were there to see, and they'd either come down and pick them up, or I'd have to ask for them. Visitors could not walk around the building unescorted.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, so like I said, that was part of the reception security work. But I also was a clerk in that I inputted all the invoices so the customers could either get paid, I should say the vendors could get paid, or we could get paid uh,
Right.
on certain things. But mostly, what I did was the ones where vendors would be paid, the one that supplied you whatever stuff you needed, you know. But I inputted that every month, and if they, the, all the, I worked at an engineering center, and so all the engineers would supposed to turn their stuff in as they went along, but most of them would wait till the end of the month and bring it down so their whoever their vendor was could get paid. So that last week of the month, especially the last couple of days, I'd be
You be
busy as all
swamped.
get out. But it made the days
Yep.
go quick. I had a
Yep.
computer system. I had to put everything in, and but I did that for a while. I did that a few times, and that was a few years ago. That's around that time where I really started getting in heavy. I found I don't know if any of you ever follow vloggers and hello Mark Peringet.
Oh, Mark, that's
He's here.
Crystal's other half.
I'm going to say he
Oh,
just
okay.
came.
Hi, Mark.
Hi,
Nice to
Mark.
meet you.
How's it going?
He's whose other half?
Crystal's Adventures.
Okay.
Annie, welcome, my friend.
Menge, I know I haven't said anything yet. How are you?
Hey, Menge. Let's see. I have a question for you. I think that I think you're today's winner, and so, but I don't have. I'm just looking at my list here. You're today's 100 peso winner for Coffee with Dan's, but I don't have your Gmail or your your
Gcash.
Gcash account, unless this is a Ninja account. I'm not sure, but can you send me your Gcash account? And I'm going to send you 100 pesos so you can enjoy um, whatever you'd like, fruits or coffee or donut at Dunkin' or
Now Gcash, don't you have to have that? I mean, I couldn't get a Gcash account, could I?
No, not
well,
here. They
you
have
have
to
to
have
apply
a Philippine phone number.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Philippine
See, I have
phone.
a
Yeah,
PayPal. I have a PayPal account, but I didn't think I could get
Yeah.
a Gcash. See,
No,
he
I
wouldn't
was
give me the
thinking.
100 pesos anyway.
No, I was thinking that you could send from PayPal to a Gcash account, but I don't think you can.
you can't. You can only do that if you download PayPal from the Philippines.
And if I'm going to download PayPal from the Philippines, I might as well download Gcash.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I
Well,
I can
don't
yeah,
have
work.
both.
but you can't. But you can't till you get a Philippine phone number.
Yeah, you can go
Yeah, but if I,
Gcash to Gcash in the Philippines, but you can't
Yeah.
but
go
what I'm
G.
saying is, though, if I'm going to the Philippines, I'm not
Well, yeah,
going
when you
until
get there.
yeah. Well, no, even if I just go for a vacation, I'm not going to stay but a week or two. I'm going to stay a month or two.
Right. Right.
Because I, like I said, I don't plan on going until after my mom passes, unless I get rich, which I doubt will ever happen. But I'm just saying, though. So when I do go, I'm going to be retired or close to retirement, and I'll just take my vacation and tell them, hey, look, this is when I'm coming back. If you don't like it, I'll find a second job when I come back. But
You're welcome, Menge. You're welcome. Make sure I get a Gcash account for you.
because I don't mind
Hey,
taking some unpaid
Mike.
time off.
Mike, what do you think about that? Since you've been in the fiber optic business before, what do you think about electric light wave and that whole thing that happened in California where we spent billions of dollars running fiber optic cable and then they turn around and go bankrupt and sell it for pennies on the dollar to one of the local telephone companies? That thing still gripes me. That happened all across the country, where they used our money in order to lay fiber optic cable and then they go bankrupt and then some yo-yo comes along and gives them pennies on the dollar for the fiber optic cable. You know why I
Yeah.
like this? You know why? That's the reason why I like the whole Elon Musk satellite thing. It's because what Starlink is going to make it so obsolete. Fiber optic cable.
Netband, Dan hasn't made the final decision yet. It'll be announced on his Wednesday morning for him, Tuesday night for us. Uh, that's when he'll make the announcement.
Right.
Netband just asked, "What's the final name that you chose?" So I'm just letting them know you haven't done it yet. They still have
Yeah.
time to get their suggestions in.
I have come
And
up with a total brain fog on any kind of creativity for a name,
well, I came
so
up
I
with a
couldn't even
long
think of
time
anything.
Well,
ago.
me
So
too. That's why I went to the studio audience for help.
Yeah, my creativity is limited
I
a
don't have
lot
a
of the time.
creative bone in my entire body.
I did,
Well,
but I
I
broke it.
could
So
I could say that too.
uh, no,
I
I've never
think I
been
did
real
once,
creative.
but it broke or wore out or fell out or something.
But Mike said he installed some of the fiber ring around the whole Bay Area. Then the .com bust, and they started paying us to take it out. No demand.
Yeah, exactly. It was a big scam here. It was a big scam here in Sacramento. Oh wait, I'm not in Sacramento any longer.
Knitman, you were talking about riding bikes ever since. I used to ride a 750. I had an old Honda, what they called 754. The four was spelled out FOUR. It stood for four cylinders, one of the first four cylinders. And they later changed it to the CB 750, but they made the 754 for 3 years. I had a 74 754, and that's where I cut my chest open. Was wrecking that bike, and I rode that same
Ouch.
bike for another 3 or 4 years.
That's gotta hurt.
Oh, it did.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
had a
especially
tube sticking out. I had a tube sticking out of my chest for about 2 weeks. They
yeah,
let the drain it because there was gravel up inside, so it was a loosely stitched uh, scar, and it's finally pretty much gone. But it took years before that because it was so loosely stitched.
yeah.
And
It's like my ankle where I broke it. It's got a wide scar on it.
yeah, well, this was back in '86, and I rode
Yeah.
that same bike to about 1990, and I, I had insurance where the wreck all I had to pay was the first $50. I had really good insurance. That's including medical. I
Yeah.
had full coverage on that bike, even though it was an old bike. I went in and got full coverage. That wreck cost my insurance company $600-700, something like that. And my insurance the next year went down.
Wow.
Well, what happened is I had my younger brother listed as a rider. So if he
Oh,
went
okay.
anywhere, he was covered. And he hit that next age level where it dropped it
Yeah.
and it offset a little more, offset what the wreck would have cost me for going up. So yeah, it went down
Well, that
about
was lucky.
yeah, it went down about $9 for the whole time because I had 9 months writing and 3 months storage, and so yeah, it was
Yeah.
just fortuitous that he hit that next age group,
Yeah.
so it lowered it. And I mean, I could have lowered it more, but taken it off. But like if I had to work, it's like you want to use a bike, go take off. I'll see you when you get back.
Yeah.
You know, this is my younger brother. We lived together for a while, and so I had no problem letting him use it. Uh, and, but
A 150 you did long distance driving in it, Ban? Oh, no, thank you.
I hope it didn't overheat on you anytime.
Exactly.
I, I'm going to tell you the
That's a
truth.
lot of
I would
spark
ride
plugs you have to change.
if I was in the Philippines. I would ride a 150. I would
Yeah,
prefer the
that's
170. I would prefer the 175 or the 220, the low 200. What is it? 250. I think they got one of those, and that's because of my size. All right. Uh, I would prefer like I think they got a 250, I believe. But even the
yeah.
175 would have a little more power. But I
You
kind
know,
of
you just
like
reminded me that one thing that Man Meanie and I we were supposed to do on this trip is we're supposed to look at electric scooters.
Oh
well,
yeah, you were saying something about that.
I
Yeah,
don't want an electric one. I know gas costs just as much, if not more, in the Philippines than it does here. But I still don't want electric.
yeah,
Uh,
they're gonna ban in Manila. They're talking about banning,
Gasoline.
gas scooters.
yeah, gas and diesel vehicles.
That's all right because I'm not going to live in Manila.
Yeah.
But I would
Some of
rather
those
have
electric
gas.
bikes are pretty good.
Some of them are actually. Man Mini
I
had
just
one
don't
when
know how
she
much I
first.
would trust it for traveling. I mean, if I buy a bike, I don't want it just to ride around town. I,
Yeah,
like I said, if I lived in Valencia, I want to be able to go down to Dumaguete or some of the resort areas, and so
Well,
we're going to be riding
most
quite
of
a
them I
bit.
think have 150 miles, and they'll charge back up in 30 minutes.
yeah, they charge fast. I was just gonna say, I bought Man Mini one when she first came over to the States because I didn't want her to be bored hanging around the house. And
Right.
she would go to the ukay ukay stores and stuff like that on it. Everybody knew her in town because she was the only one at the time who had one, who had an electric bike. And
But,
Yeah.
Man Minnie she's so fun because she would put on her leathers. She would put on all her leathers and her
well, hey,
everything,
you don't want
leather
road
jacket,
rash.
leather gloves, and
That's
then
all I
she'd be
got.
like, the police would laugh at her as they were, they'd wave at her. Everybody knew her because she'd be riding that thing, you know, down the road
Like I said,
in the
the reason
bike lane.
why I kind of like the scooters in a way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I
but
buffering?
the reason
Well,
why I like the
actually,
scooters, you got that big storage area underneath the seat.
yeah.
Whereas on
Well,
the
like
250, I
Marcus,
don't know if
Open
they'd
State
have
Road
that.
has a that
But
three wheeled one he calls a Tesla scooter. It's electric.
well, yeah. Now
Hey,
my
Crystals is asking, do I have a car? I'm not testing fate, Crystals. I want to live a long and healthy life moving forward. What little time I have left, I'm not gonna shorten it up by driving over here.
Yeah, Nibban asked Ukai Ukai in Sacramento.
Yeah, secondhand store. Yeah, the
Okay.
famous one from the
they got
movie.
they don't call them
Mini, you know
yuka.
the
They go
movie,
secondhand
what was it
stores.
called? The
Yeah,
Lady Bird? You know the
Yeah, like I
movie
say,
Lady Bird?
yeah, they got secondhand
never saw it.
stores in the states. They just don't call
That
them
Oh yeah,
yukai.
that
right.
Ukai Ukai store, that secondhand store is the one that Minnie used to shop at. It's the one that appeared in the movie Lady Bird.
But
Yeah, I never
Minnie
saw
now,
said
that.
she Minnie says
now
she
my
misses it. She misses it a lot.
now my
Her electric scooter.
on the yukai.
Yeah,
She misses both. She was saying she misses both.
But like
yeah.
I said, that 750 I had a trunk on it that was big enough that I could put a case of beer in it with ice. Now, not a lot of ice, but
Hey,
ice. Keep it cold.
hey,
Yeah.
And I
Tim
done
is
it more
saying
than
that
once.
Tim is saying electric motorcycles that go over 50 kilometers per hour require a helmet and a license and insurance, the whole thing. Well,
Yep.
how fast is 50 kilometers?
It's not that
About
fast. What, about
no,
40
about
maybe?
40. Yeah, around 40.
40? Around
Well,
40?
that's faster than I'd ever want to go. I could tell you that right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not saying if you drive it that fast, if it can go that fast.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's something. I think here in some places it depends on how many CCs they are or whatever, or how many
Yeah.
horsepower. Whether you have
Well,
to have them licensed or not.
well, I don't know about scooters here in New York, but you have to wear a helmet in New York. Now in
Yeah.
Indiana, I could ride any kind of bike I want
Nitban says
without a
that's
helmet
that's
if you don't got
30
a
miles
driver's
per
license.
hour is 48 kilometers, and I'm telling you, that's plenty fast for me. You don't go much faster than that anywhere in the Philippines I've ever been anyway, unless you're on the highway.
Yeah.
So 50 would be just a little over 30.
Yeah, but they're getting pushback. Folks that own bikes and cars where they have to get licenses are pushing back, wanting to punish people buying electric cars by making them have the same requirements. Right now, they don't allow them on the road, on the main roads, but people are riding on them, and they don't have to pull over for checkpoints and all this other stuff. They just ride on by the checkpoints. It's
Just,
starting to piss off a
just
bunch of
keep riding.
people.
Hey.
Yeah, they wave as they're passing by. It's starting to piss off
Yeah.
everybody.
Uh,
Yeah,
and you do the motorcycle wave. That's
yeah,
you
that's
lower the
right. You
hand,
do the see you wouldn't want
Yeah.
to be
lower the
you.
one hand. That's a motorcycle wave.
Yeah, see you wouldn't want to be you. That sort of thing.
But like I said, in Indiana, if you have a license, you don't have to wear a helmet, and you can ride anytime you want. And you can have a passenger. If you're on a learner's permit, you're not supposed to ride at night. You're not supposed to have passengers, and you have to wear a helmet. Now, I always rode on a uh, learner's permit. Never wore a helmet because they can't pull you over for not wearing a helmet. They can't pull you over for driving at night. You
Oh,
have
I
to be
see.
breaking. You got to be breaking some other law for them to pull you
For them,
over.
they told you. I got you.
Yeah.
So
That's how they
I
used
just
to
made
have it
sure
for
I
the
didn't break any
seatbelt
other
laws.
laws. And the reason why I always rode on a learner's permit is because they only gave the test on Saturdays. And I worked every Saturday. So I wasn't going to take a day off to go take the test to get the license. It just wasn't worth it to me when I
Right.
could do what I was doing. I had my insurance; it was covered. I didn't have to have a license to get the insurance on the bike. Didn't have to have a license to get the plate for the bike. So
Did you get
that
a
was always
ticket, Tim? Did you get a ticket when they pulled you over? What'd you get a ticket for?
foreigner on a bike.
Probably.
Yeah, Ben, I do not believe I'd want to ride in Manila. I could do it if I'd have to get my license now and buy a cheap bike before I go to the Philippines and start riding. Do it over here when you got the traffic lights and the stop signs and almost
Yeah.
everybody follows that. Notice I said almost everybody
Oh,
follows that.
definitely. I mean, I rode in
Yep.
Thailand, and that definitely was tempting fate.
Well, yeah, because you had to ride the other side of the street.
It was it was wild to get used to it, but once you get the rhythm, once you get the flow of traffic, then you get the rhythm. Because since the majority of them on the street are riding bikes, you have to just like kind of know who to hang with,
Right.
and you keep out of trouble.
Yep.
And Tim said he didn't get a ticket, but they delayed him for 3 hours.
Why'd they make you go to the checkpoint? Why did they call you over in there? What'd you do?
Told you, foreigner riding a
Foreigner
bike.
on a bike. Exactly.
Yep.
It's
The old
because they
skin tax
can.
to be exact.
Yeah. Did you have to pay a fine, Tim? Did you have to pay a fine? Did you have to pay a public use tax?
Skin tax, skin tax. But no, like
Yep.
I said, I wouldn't want to ride even in. After a while, I'd feel comfortable enough to do it in Cebu or maybe uh, Manila, but it's not something I would really want to. I mean, it's like, all right, ride somewhere, park your bike, and take the bus in or the train in.
Hey, can
If
I
you
tell
got to
you guys?
park and
Can I
ride
share with
someplace,
you? Can I share with you something that happened? I'm not sure
Sure.
that uh, I'm pretty. I'm see-through Dan. They don't call me see-through Dan for nothing. So this is what you can see right through me. So I could say that we had something really, man, Minnie and I had something really, really interesting happen. And I'm kind of surprised. I seem to be just a tiny bit more aware of stuff going on than Man Minnie. You know, Man Minnie on occasion has been known to walk around with her head in the clouds, you know. So we're walking down the street right here. We're walking down right here in Mango, and we decided we're going to stop and do it into Phillies. It was Phillies. Now I'm going to name them. I'm calling them out. We were in Phillies Bar here on Mango in the neighborhood here,
Okay.
and we go in there because it says 29-cent beer, and the gals are holding the sign. Now, if Man Minnie and I were walking up together, and they're not too interested in wanting to talk to us about 29-cent beers, right? Because they're looking
Right.
for single guys walking by.
Yep.
Because their main objective, I was
That's their hook.
explaining, yeah, their main objective is to get guys walking by, and then the girls escort them over to the table. They bring them the beer, and
Trying to
then
get them to buy a drink, which is going to
you
be
have to
higher
buy
than
a
that
drink for
29.
the girl.
Oh, I've been there and
Right.
played that game. That game's
Yeah,
been going on in bars for years.
right.
Oh yeah.
So
San Diego had a lot of bars like that. Let me tell you.
I think
So
I think
Mike is the one.
most
Mike is the
bars
one
are like
reminding
that.
me of this incident. So we go up walking there. I said, "Look, I wonder if that's 29, pesos for draft beer or what's going on. So let's go find out." So we go to Phillies and they go, "Oh, it's for the second round." I go, "You just order the first round, and then when you order the second round, you get it for 29. You get it for 29 pesos." So we go up there. I said, "Okay, sounds good." So I asked 2 or 3 times, clarify it again. Yeah, you pay regular price, 95 pesos for the first beer. The second round, we're gonna give it to you for 29 pesos. Well, guess what happens, right? So we sit at the table and I said, "Well, is there a certain kind of beer that I have to order in order to get the 29 on the second round?" And she goes, "No, sir, just order any beer." And I go, "Okay, we want San Miguel Light." So they bring over the San Miguel Light. When we finish that off, and the girl comes over, I said, "Now we want our 29 peso beer." She goes, "Oh, sorry, sir, you have to order Red Horse for that. You would have had to have ordered Red Horse for the first beer." So then I start laughing because I'd been sitting there telling Man Minnie this 29 peso beer thing isn't going to happen, and she goes, "How do you know?" I said, "Because it's a trick to get you to
Oh
come in
yeah.
and sit down.
Yep.
And
It's
then
just
once you
clickbait.
sit down, they want a girl to join you, and they want you can't bring your own girl. This isn't one of those bars where you bring your own girls.
Well,
So this is Phillies and Mango. This is Phillies and Mango that does this.
Yep.
believe me, I
So,
won't go to Phillies and Mango.
No,
so I mean, so
I
the
won't
girl
either.
comes over and she says, I start to explain. I start to protest by saying, "Well, but you," and then I just forget it. We'll see you later. And Minnie's kind of look at me. We get up off the chair and we just leave, right? And she goes, "Well, what? Why didn't you insist?" I said, "Because there's no point to it. The whole point to it was they're trying to make money. They would have given you the second round for 29 pesos, and then as long as you would have ordered the ladies drink, you would have been good to go. But if we would have ordered the Red Horse, then they would have come over and said,
Said it was
you
San
gotta
That'd be
Miguel.
San Miguel.
yeah, you gotta order the San
Yeah.
Miguel."
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
So I
That's
was
just
cracking
bait and
up.
switch.
Yeah, I
my
was
favorite
cracking
my
up.
favorite bar in San Diego.
It was so funny.
The girls' drinks cost a lot more money. They just splash a little alcohol in it. Wouldn't be,
Yeah, yeah. Oh
and they
yeah.
charge you the regular price for alcohol. I mean, they didn't overcharge you, but they normally gave them Coke or just a little bit of
Well,
something in it.
when I first came to my first trip to the Philippines, I was going to Manila. We end up in LA Cafe with a friend of mine, Don. Don is still a really really good friend, but he doesn't travel much anymore. But Um, he's dealing with a few health issues back in the States. But anyway, Don takes me in there, and that he says so when the girl comes over and then you order a drink and things like that, you got to taste the drink. And I go, what? I'm not tasting somebody else's drink. He says, you got to, Dan, because they're gonna serve up something that looks like a vodka and tonic or something that's going to turn out to be Sprite. You have to, and I'm not paying them. I'm not paying them for soda. And so I never got into that. But Don, he'd be sitting there and he'd be like, he'd be, the girl would come over and sit down right next to Don, and he'd be ordering a drink. And then I'd be sitting there, and here's Don grabbing the girl's drink, and the girl be looking at him like, what's he doing? And then here's Don sipping it, sipping it. He was quite the character. I would just sit
Yeah.
back and I would just crack up laughing, thinking to myself, I never would do that. Who cares? I would never do that.
Now, hey Joe, Mike, hey Joe, the bar I'm talking about in San Diego wasn't those kind of bars. There was no short time. It was just you went in. They were waitresses. If you wanted them to sit and talk with you, you bought them a drink, and they'd sit and talk with you. But the drink was not a drink usually. Now they also shot pool, but you didn't have to buy a drink to shoot pool with them. But it was like you said, a come on to get the guys in there because there's so
Yeah,
many
Mike.
bars in San Diego where the sailors are at. Yeah, in the Philippines, yeah, they had that too. But when I was in the Philippines,
Listen,
if you
Mike,
wanted to,
things have changed. Nothing works. Nothing
well,
works the
he's
way
talking
it
about
used
when he
to. I
was in
just
the
want to
Navy
let
in
you
the
know
Philippines.
it's
Yeah.
all
No, he's
changed.
talking about probably when he was in the service.
Yeah, because
Those
yeah,
bars were totally different.
all that stuff has all gone
Oh yeah,
away.
that's all. Well, they I guess maybe in Angeles City uh,
On walking
is the
That
street.
don't
same
Yeah.
even
area,
happen.
Mike.
That doesn't happen in Angeles. I'm telling you, it doesn't
Okay,
happen
I'm
anymore.
just saying though, there's some areas that may still happen. I
I
guess in
don't know
Manila
where.
they got a. Well, I'm saying in Manila they do have a red light district, or
Well,
what they
yeah, but
consider
it
it.
don't happen. It don't happen like that no more.
They have them in the bars anymore.
Yeah, no, all that stuff has gone away. It's history.
That's actually a good thing, if you
Yeah,
ask me.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I
actually a
mean
good.
it's all history. But here's something that's interesting. Something that's really interesting that I would never see the Philippines going this way, and so it's probably not even appropriate to talk about it here in this chat. But Thailand just introduced a bill where they're going to legalize it in order to protect the workers. And I don't know, what are you going to do? I'm kind of like for it, because I'm kind of like, my take on the whole thing is they're going to be
If
doing
it
it anyway.
if it's going to happen anyway, they might as well legalize it.
You might as
That
well
way they
legalize
can
it and then
that way they can
offset the
tax it. They
protection.
can also go ahead and um, do health checks on the girls and
Well,
stuff.
they did they when I was in the Philippines, they did that. If the girl had to get shots and get they weren't supposed to work the bar, and if they bars found out that they had one of the venereal diseases, they weren't allowed to work. And if the bars let them work and they knew that she had a venereal disease, the bar would be fined.
Yeah, they're doing
Yeah.
something like that. They're doing where the bar
Well,
has to
that
get a 3-year
they might
license,
as
and they're doing
well.
health
You
checks
might
on
as
some of the
well
stuff.
because they can get a little more control of that. And
Well, it
if it's
protects the
if it's
girls, and
legal, it will cut down a lot of the crime involved.
I forget
Nip
how
Band,
often
save
the
your
girls.
money. Nip Band,
I,
save your money for going somewhere else.
well, he can go see he can go see Tim,
Yeah, go see Tim. There you go. Go
Yeah.
see Tim.
but no. If I went to Angeles City, it'd be to see the other side, not the bar side. I have, like I said, I'm not interested in being out there bar hopping, getting drunk, and chasing skirt. I just not what I want to do.
Nope.
Uh, I want to when I move to the Philippines,
Oh,
if
it's
I get a
okay,
move.
Larry. They've got gay bars there too.
Hey, thanks. You willing to go with me? Hey, fella. Just don't tell Mimi, and we'll have a good old great day. No, but no, like I said, I have nothing against chasing skirt. I just don't want to go to the bars. I just not into that scene
Yeah.
anymore. I haven't been for years.
Yep.
And besides, it
I
saves you
spent
money
too
if you
many
don't go
years
get
working
drunk
in
and throwing your
bars
money away.
to even enjoy it
you can
anymore.
PM me on Nipan any question. You can PM me on that. I'll tell you what's going on in AC. I'll tell you about the new. I'll tell you about the new proposal to convert Walking Street into an outdoor mall that kind of looks like J Street in downtown Sacramento.
But
I've been hearing stuff about that.
Yeah, they want to
like I
convert it. They want to convert it over to an outdoor mall.
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we're talking about Angeles City and Subic where I was at. Uh, I would go visit Subic after I decided where I wanted to stay at, only to see
Yeah.
how much it changed. Also, it's supposed to be a very Americanized or westernized city because of all the infrastructure that was built when the Navy was there. I'm sure Angeles is similar to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of stoplights. They got uh, very good traffic control. They got divided roads, and the sewer system, I guess, is real good shape and all that. So it'd be interesting to go see it.
Oh
Uh,
shoot! Hey, you just reminded me of something else. Talking about. Hey, did you know that? Do you know that they're opening up access to more bases to the for U.S. military? Is anybody surprised?
No,
no,
Yeah.
I had heard there were 5. Are there more than
Oh,
that now?
they're all bets are off. You should see what they're doing. You should go in and see
Okay.
what they're doing.
Well,
They're
it's
going to
been
be
a couple months
all
ago.
over the place.
I heard they
There's
were
at
going to do
least
five, then
8 or
five
10
bit.
or 12 that they're going to
Like
be
I said,
rotating in and
I
out.
heard they were going to do five originally and then five more later. That's what.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
The 5 more later are in play.
Okay, they're
Yeah.
already in play because
So later
well,
meant now, I guess.
you know
Now
how I
means
go to
later.
Steve's or Steven's live stream. They
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that in one of his a few weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
That they were now he says don't hold me to it. He says, but I've been hearing talk that there may be five more coming.
Of course,
They got
Yeah.
they've already been here.
That was
They're
that
already
was the
dropping
one
folks off.
yeah. That was the one that he was actually named where they were going to be, right?
Right.
yeah,
And
and
so I think the Chinese are none too happy about this
well,
development.
good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm not a, my best. Y'all know my
You
best
know what?
friend is
You go ahead and
Chinese.
say that. You go ahead and say that, Larry. But no more plastic cups for you, my friend.
Cool.
You
This
That's
is
start
fine with
glass.
using
me.
you
This
start
is
using
glass.
glass and ceramic.
That's what I use. I don't have I don't
Yeah,
own a
and
plastic cup.
stay out of the 99-cent store.
I
The
haven't
only
been in one
reason
of those
these
in
are
years.
plastic, the only
Yeah.
reason these are plastic is because they came from the hospital
Well, I
and
have some.
they
I
never
got a
get
fruit.
heated up.
Oh no, I got a.
See, there's Tim giving you the what force. There will be 9 bases. 18,000 troops are on the way now. That's a
That's very,
factoid.
very. That sounds very,
Wrap
very,
your wrap your
very
wrap your
accurate.
brain around that news. Wrap your brain around
Well,
that news,
remember we
folks.
talked about just the five how much money that's going to pump. Now, if you got nine, just think how much money that's going to pump into the Filipino economy, and then you throw in the 18,000 troops.
Peter's cracking me up. Are they leasing the land, the Chinese owned land in Africa? Listen, our ports are owned by the Chinese, Peter. I'm sure you know this. You know, our ports in Long Beach and Los Angeles are foreign owned.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
and I think they have bought some farmland too.
Yeah, they bought
Of
a
course,
bunch of farmland
so is
in Montana
Bill
or North
Gates.
Dakota next to uh,
I
missile
don't trust
base.
that Bill Gates either.
A Knitband's pointing out that you most likely are using equipment right now that was made in China, and I'm sure he is right.
Very,
Yeah,
very, very probably.
a very very good chance. But if we have to go back to dumb phones, I'll go back to a dumb phone. Uh,
You mean a rotary dial-up?
no, the ones that
Well, at least
flip
an
phones where
analog.
you can't text or anything, no
Well, you
pictures.
could, Larry, you could text on them, But it take you an hour to text, "Hi, how are you?"
Like I said, you
Well,
can't text on.
you mean a Nokia or Samsung phone? Man, Minnie has asked me. She said, "Look, we need to buy a couple of those while
Well,
we're here."
Samsung's actually Korean,
She
but
sees,
It's-
oh, good. Well, then it's going to be that's most likely will be a Samsung then, because she said they're really popular here. We see everybody carrying them, and the reason why I come to find out is because people keep getting the Android phones and the Apple phones stolen. That they
oh
jack you
yeah,
right in the middle of the street for them.
I got a Samsung.
So people keep
yeah. So
their
do I.
Androids in the house, and then they run around. They get the little tiny. I think they're $6 here. They're the little text only phones,
No,
text and call only. You know, they're not smartphones. They're the old. They're the old Nokia looking phones.
Okay.
yeah. Funny those don't even work on the networks anymore.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do
Yeah.
here in the Philippines.
Well, I know they shut
Well,
down most of the 3G
Yeah.
networks around. Yeah, I thought everywhere, but at least here in the states.
Okay,
So you
folks.
got
I
to have a
think
4G
that
or newer.
we're at the end of the road for the live stream because I'm starting to bore myself now.
Ah, never
Yeah, I'm bored
happened,
of
Dan.
myself. Yeah, I'm
Never happened, Dan.
just coming out like this, useless diatribe, blah, 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 like that.
now see,
So,
both my phones. I have
hey,
two phones, and they're both
Minnie
Samsung.
wants to come in the camera, say hello to her. Oh, there
Hi
she
there,
is.
Hey,
Minnie. How you
Minnie.
doing?
Minnie,
Minnie, how are
Always,
you?
always improves the
have you
look
been
on the
here the
panel.
whole time?
I'm just lying down in the bed.
You know,
listening.
the live stream just got better.
Yeah, you can go, Dan. Minnie can sit here and talk with us.
Yeah, Minnie can
Thanks a
take
lot,
over for
guys.
us.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming to the live. I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, my watch hours and my hits on the videos and the live streams are going crazy. This is the last live stream that you can place a suggestion for a name for a channel in the comment section once it turns into a video. So you want to make sure you're doing that, because I'm going to be over at Ayala Mall shortly. We're going to be reviewing all the name suggestions. I will be picking a winner, whether you like it or not, and that winner is going to get how much? 5K
100 no
Philippine
500
pesos,
pesos, 500,000 pesos.
5,000 Filipino pesos.
You sure
Right
you don't want
before
to? You sure
Holy
you don't want to
Week.
give them Mexican pesos?
That's right before. That's right
They're
before
worth
Holy
more.
Week. That will
Huh?
buy a lot of Easter eggs for
Yeah.
your family.
Actually,
Not many onions though.
they'd
Uh,
have to.
well, the price of onions is actually coming down because they actually are starting to import them in
Okay.
order to bring
Okay.
the cost down. The government intervened and they're starting to bring truckloads of onions in here.
Cool.
Well, you
As a
know,
matter of fact, I had a pizza. We had a pizza at Pizza Hut yesterday that had the small purple onions in there, and
Yeah.
so it was very delicious.
yeah.
All right, why? Oh yeah, we can talk about it next time. But why pizza tastes better at the Pizza Hut here than the Pizza Hut in the States? I have no idea. Why
Well,
KFC
I
chicken
have
tastes
noticed.
better?
I have noticed that it's kind of store to store.
Is
One
it
place
really?
will, yeah, one place will be excellent, and the next place will be worse than Domino's used to be. And
Okay, I just
Domino's have
think
gotten better.
yeah,
it's
they
different.
made some
It's
changes.
a
They're a lot
different,
better.
just tastes different, Leonard. Like a different crust, a different.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
it
Leonard,
could
let me
be
put it to you
because
this way. Let me put it to you this way. I don't know if you can relate. You can taste the love in the pizza, my friend. When you eat the pizza, the first thing is you taste the love.
like I said, maybe they follow. Maybe they
Yeah,
follow the.
made by caring hands. The
There you
something
go.
like that.
And they
Like I said,
follow the
maybe
All
they
right.
proper
follow the directions
recipe.
of the store wants them to follow. Here's the
Yeah.
recipe. Use it. I'm talking about with KFC.
Yeah, Nick Bannis, your standard of pizza taste gets lower. Yeah, here in the States, it gets a little bit better here in the Philippines. I don't know why.
Well,
Okay,
it's
so we're
pizza
conquering the
has
whole.
gotten worse here from
Well, it's gotten
everybody.
great. We finally hit the Pizza Hut, the sit down one. It was way different than the pizza we had in the takeout Pizza
Yeah.
Hut. So I don't know what the difference is, but I could tell you that it was much better. And so far, it ranks up there within one of the best one or two pizzas that we've had here in the Philippines.
All right.
So
Well, I'm glad you found
so
it.
there's hope for the future. It makes me want to go out and buy a Pizza Hut franchise and bring it to Bye Bye City Leyte.
There you go.
Makes me want to retire and move.
Yeah. Yep.
But Tim said he's the pizza's on him when we come to Angelo City, Ned Bam. So Tim, when we come to AC, the pizza's on you at Dow. Let's see what else. Oh, Menge is the winner of the 100 peso coffee and donut challenge. And so what I'd like is PM me with your Gcash account number so I could send that off right away. And if you can't, somebody in here will give you will PM me. You could PM them. They could PM me. However it goes. So I get it in my inbox like right now, so I could send it off. And Larry, go ahead. What are your words of wisdom now?
All right, bye everyone. Remember, take care of yourselves, stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun.
Bye bye,
All
everybody.
right,
We'll
bye.
see you. We'll see you in the next one.
All right, bye everyone.
All
I'm
right.
gonna leave. Bye.
Bye bye.